program. We are in Tupelo, Mississippi for Celebration Village. It's being held at the Tupelo Furniture Market. It benefits Sanctuary Hospice House here in the Tupelo area. And joining us now, the mayor of Tupelo, Mississippi, Todd Jordan. Mayor, thanks for coming on.
Hey, glad to be here. Always glad to be here and tell the state everything about Tupelo.
You got a lot of good stuff going on, but let's first talk about this event, Mayor. You got to be proud of this. I think this really speaks to the generosity and the concern that exists within the citizens of Tupelo and the surrounding area for their fellow, their brothers and sisters that are going through a very difficult period of their lives when they're passing over to the other side. And it is a tough time for families, but hospice plays an important role of kind of softening the difficulty, and they come out to help raise money because without it, I don't think those services are possible.
That's right, and this is a great event. It's gotten bigger every year, the 20 years in its existence, and, you know, it's just a great community-wide event. And like you said, I mean, we're a very caring community, and we want to do everything we can for this event. And the Sanctuary Hospice House, and I think if you ask 80% of the people that live in Tupelo, they know, have a loved one or friend that's been through that hospice house or home hospice, and you know, it's just a great organization, and I've never heard a bad word about the workers, the volunteers, the facility, or anything that people care for as when we're there.
And blessed to have this facility, and the Tupelo Furniture Market folks are very generous in allowing them to set up in here. I went through here this morning, Mayor. It's like I said earlier, it's like walking through two shopping malls all under one roof.
It's Christmas come early for a lot of people, and that's what this is about. And you know, people come and spend money, get Christmas gifts, Thanksgiving stuff, and it's just a great organization.
It really is, really is. All right, tell us what's going on here. I know you've always got lots of good stuff going on. I tell you what, before I ask you that question, you know, we've had lots of trouble back in Jackson with the water situation. That's obviously made national news. Give us the status of your infrastructure. It's a big part of operating a city, obviously.
It is, and fortunate for the city of Tupelo and former leaders, back in the 80s, the city of Tupelo decided to try to add a 0.25% sales tax to their water. So we have probably the best water in the city, in the state of Mississippi.
Okay.
Over $100 million has been raised to keep that up. We have to redo our station about every 20 years. So that 0.25% never comes off. It just continues for maintenance. And if you take it off and you don't maintain it, you get what you get in a lot of other places, which is substandard water and sewer and things like that. But, you know, our ARPA funds, we've turned in for a match for $8 million. Hopefully we'll
get
the
state match.
That's right,
Mm-hmm.
$16 million out of that. Our water and light department has got an SRF loan for $18 million. So, you know, over the next 4 or 5 years, hopefully we'll put about $40 million in the ground.
Okay. And I mean, because it's never ending. You've got to. It's constant maintenance is required to stay up.
It is, and people, we always have an aging infrastructure. I mean,
Sure.
if we started to redo it right now, by the time we finished, it'd be
Start over again.
That's right. So we fix the ones that are broken, and you know, right now with the ARPA funds, you know, we couldn't be happier with the state of Mississippi coming through and offering that match. And, you know, it's some things that we're going to be able to do, big ticket items that we wouldn't generally be able to do, some of our stormwater drainage and things like that. So, you know, we hope to get all that match, and, you know, we're not spending any of it on anything but water and sewer.
Yeah. Well, and I mean, there were some restrictions, of course, on the money, but that's such a major asset for a city that, like I said, requires constant maintenance. And if you get behind on it, it's almost impossible to catch up.
It is impossible. It's impossible. It's almost impossible to keep up if you don't get behind.
Yeah, that's true.
Because just like you know, the last couple of months, it's been so dry. The ground is shifting. It's breaking water lines, so we've had a lot of maintenance over the last few months.
Interesting. What else you got going on? I know last time you and I visited, I think we were over at Ace Bolt and Screw, and we stayed downtown. Our SuperTalk crew did the evening before. Always such an impressive downtown and here in Tupelo, but you really got all the ingredients for a great quality of life.
We do, and of course the new Hotel Tupelo opened up in February, and
It's awesome.
Competition is always good. Hilton Garden Inn is committed to a total renovation.
Okay.
Across the street, we're hearing about $6 million on that renovation. We just changed over our Bancorp South Center to Cadence Arena. That is going really good as far as our new conference center. We're getting a lot of statewide conventions. We just put a new ice plant in our arena. It was aging and couldn't make ice, so we had Disney on ice last week.
Okay.
We're having to drain that ice. We're having the North American Mennonite Conference in, and that's going to be about 11,000 people in the city of Tupelo. I heard every hotel room within 60 miles is booked. So
I was going to ask you if you had enough accommodations for that.
We don't, but they're booked all the way to Olive Branch. So there'll be an extra 11,000 people here. As soon as that's out, we got to put our ice back in. We'll have public skating through Thanksgiving. So it's, the arena's doing really well, and downtown is too.
Yeah, so that speaks to the economy of the city of Tupelo. You've also got great health care and great schools here as well,
We
don't
do.
you?
The North Mississippi Medical Center always is very supportive of the city of Tupelo. Actually, we have a meeting this month on a new development of theirs. Our tourism tax, our 2% tourism tax, had a record year, and the fortunate thing for that is they have committed about $1.3 million to a new pickleball complex.
Okay.
And we will have the most outdoor pickleball courts in North Mississippi.
How about that? Well, I know you've got great parks and rec as well, and host a lot of events that brings people in here from all over the state and region.
We do, and we have the state swim meet here Friday and Saturday. It'll bring a lot of people in, and we had the biggest Southeast zone meet we've ever had, about 700 swimmers a couple of months ago. And I can't say enough about our park and rec, but again, we have to keep up with the maintenance.
Sure.
We continue to spend a lot of money because we are competing with other areas like Oxford, Olive Branch, and people like that for regional and statewide events. So we always maintenance, and it doesn't take long for something to get 10 or 15 years old and have to completely redo it.
Legislative session, hard to believe, right around the corner again. Anything in particular that you're talking to your senators and reps about that you need?
We got a lot of money last year. I say a lot. We got some money for our state roads and things like that. And there's going to be several phases to that. Ballard Park is going to be several phases. We're looking to do an ADA playground that's unlike anything in this area. But we've got the money for our infrastructure. Now we need to trying to get some money for the playground and things like that. We have an outdoor stage. We'd like to put some type of amphitheater seating there. So we're going to ask a lot of a phase 2 that we got last year.
Yeah. What about the financial status of the city itself, Mayor? With inflation, of course, is affecting everyone. You're seeing likely an increase in diversions, but you've also got an increase in expenses as well.
That's right. I think the fuel this year hit us pretty hard. We had several budget amendments just for fuel, and that was police and fire, the vehicles that stay on the road the most. But right now we're pretty good financially. We've got the highest bond rating you can have. We've got about $18 or $19 million in the bank that we can borrow against that if we need to.
Okay.
And we may have to because, we just don't want to keep borrowing money, bonding and things like that. But we just opened up a new fire station. That was exciting. That was the first fire station we built since the 90s and replaced one that was built in 1958. So we need to build a new fire station about every 5 or 6 years for about the next 40 years, I think.
What are you hearing before we wrap up here? What are you hearing from the business community, or how are they feeling about the economic conditions?
I talk to bankers all the time, and they're still positive. Their commercial lending is still really good, even though the interest rates on residential, we've had record years last couple of years as far as permits. on a residential. So, right now I would say economically the city of Tupelo is doing really well.
It seems to be kind of localized, regionalized when you just look across the country in terms of how economic conditions are impacting them, and it seems like you see more resilience in areas where they're not so dependent on one particular industry. They've got a pretty diverse economy, and you have that here too.
We do. We have the banking, we have the hospital, we have Cooper Tire, which is now Goodyear, and Goodyear is looking to spend tens of millions of dollars on new technology.
That's awesome.
Because we have to, now they have to start making tires for electric vehicles.
Right.
So, it's just a diversity.
More investment.
Now. That's right.
Mayor, always good to see you, sir. Appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Glad to be here.
Mayor Todd Jordan, the mayor of the city of Tupelo, Mississippi, and that's where we are today for Celebration Village. Proceeds benefiting Sanctuary Hospice House. We'll step aside for a break. Tawana O'Rear, Sanctuary Hospice COO, at 12:50. Stay